Hey guys, Chris here with the Good Old Gamer, and welcome to another Framerate Freaks episode. So on this channel, we mostly tackled topics of PC hardware, and we usually talk about graphics cards, CPUs, things of that nature. Me personally, I've crusaded on educating people on the fact that processors are just as important as graphics cards, and after 3 CPU Showdown series videos, I'm pretty sure that point has now been proven. However, today we're going to go ahead and look at something a little bit different. This is another topic that the mainstream out there, nobody's talking about it, and in fact, most of the information that I found out there was actually completely wrong. So I'm going to go ahead and help you guys out and set the record straight on something. We're going to just jump right into it, and I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know that, yes, there are 120 Hertz TVs out there today. Now, I'm not talking about you read the box and it says 120 Hertz or 240 Hertz or any nonsense like that. I'm talking about an actual 120 Hertz refresh rate is available on modern televisions. Now, this isn't on all of them. This is on a very select few. After browsing the internet and finding misinformation all over YouTube, people saying that there are not 120 Hertz televisions and 120 Hertz cannot be streamed over HDMI, well, they're straight up wrong. I went ahead and sold my Alienware Alpha last year, and before I did, I went ahead and plugged it into my television, and it recognized 120 Hertz right off of the bat. And this confused me at first. I was kind of curious as to what was going on, as I have used my wife's laptop in the living room for game streaming and whatnot, and that would only recognize 60 Hertz. Come to find out that the NVIDIA graphics cards, the Maxwell-based graphics card there, was able to go ahead and produce 120 Hertz over HDMI to my television. Now, I don't have a newer AMD graphics card. My wife's laptop's using an older AMD APU. That one could not do it. Intel IGPs cannot stream 120 Hertz over HDMI. And so as of right now, I went ahead and tested the GTX 670. That also works. So I would say a Kepler-based NVIDIA card or newer would work. And if anybody out there is running, a newer GCN graphics card and has a television that is capable of 120 Hertz, please go ahead and leave that in the comments below. I would love to know if they do work or not. And at some point, once Vega comes out, I will buy one of those and test that out. But it doesn't look like those aren't coming out until 2017. So if we can get some information and clarification on that earlier, that'd be awesome. And thank you guys for that. Okay, but regardless, the big thing is if you have the proper hardware, it is a possibility. What this allows us as high refresh gamers to do is actually venture into the living room and not feel like we're getting some scaled down version of our games. If you've played on consoles before, you've noticed that massive input lag, especially running at 30 frames per second, and even at 60 frames per second. Most of those games are running with some sort of VSync on, and this leads to horrible, horrible input lag. Now, in a living room, even on a PC, you're probably going to end up using a wireless controller. If you have kids running around or, pets or anything like that, you don't want those wires running across your floor. If you live by yourself, that's fine. You can do that. But, as you get older, that becomes less and less of an option. And the big thing that I noticed is actually gaming at 120 Hertz, you don't have any of that input lag anymore. Controllers actually feel very responsive. For example, Doom is a very fast first-person shooter. You've seen me play it plenty of times here on the channel, and I can sit out there on my recliner and play online competitively against people using a keyboard and mouse, and I can keep up with them. I don't do quite as well as I do with a keyboard and mouse, but instead of coming in first or second, I might come in second and third. And, honestly, for a more relaxed experience, that's perfectly fine. So with the higher refresh, you go ahead and are still able to keep up even on more demanding titles. Now, games like, Witcher 3 and single-player games, that's even less of an issue. But, for example, Deus Ex that you see running in the background here, having the lower input latency, it just makes everything feel snappy and responsive, and it feels more like the experience that you're used to playing on a PC. Now, like I said earlier, not every TV can go ahead and do this. There's a website right here. You can go ahead and check it out. It's artings.com. I'm going to put a link to the exact article that I'm showing you here in the description below. And they have a list where they tested many 2016 TVs, and some of them are 2015 models. And they have it broken down in this chart. Many different features, whether it can do 1080p, 120 Hertz, whether 4K is supported, whether it supports 10-bit HDR, maximum resolution supported, and it'll even tell you what sizes will support the 120 Hertz. For example, like on some of the Vizios, only the 55-inch and larger will support it, meaning not even the same lineup of televisions will necessarily do it. Now, speaking of Vizio, it seems that they're one of the only television companies that really do support this with lower response times. Now, some Sony TVs, according to them, do have this option as well, but they do have higher response times, which will then lead to even higher input lag. So, you just kind of have to find the balance as to what you exactly want. My television's an older 42-inch Vizio M series television from 2014, and it happens to work. It's not on this list here, and I didn't buy the TV for this feature. I mean, on the box, they're touting 240 hertz, which is stupid considering the fastest gaming monitor on Earth only runs at 200 hertz. So I don't know why these people keep thinking that this marketing is okay. I'm surprised they haven't got sued for this yet. But hey, comes to find out, it'll actually do 120, which is really nice. And the experience that I can have in my living room is comparable to that I have in my office. Well, alrighty, guys, I hope this helps you out. You can check out that website if you guys are looking into a newer television and you're thinking about either putting a media box out there to game stream off of, or if you want to set up a second gaming PC. Here in the future, I'm going to go ahead and go over in-home streaming, as that's far more cost-effective than setting up two high-end gaming PCs, especially if you're going to be running at 120 hertz also in your living room. You're going to need something with some serious beef, same thing that you need, as your main PC. So you might as well just invest in one computer and stream over. And I will spoil a little bit, you can stream at 120 frames per second, and it is awesome. And I'll go over that in more details here in another video. Alrighty, guys, if you like this kind of video, please hit that like button. Please subscribe, and please leave any questions, comments in the comment section below. I know this is a little bit different, and I'm sure there's probably a lot of questions out there. I might have missed a few things. I'm just kind of doing this off the cuff. This is more like, hey, this is information that you might need or be useful to you, so I wanted to get that out there. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.